What's up, guys? It's Jeremy with Jack Monkey Jeep coming back at you with another video. This is kind of off the cuff. We're just gonna hit record on the camera and we're gonna talk about some things. This morning I woke up to Ice-mageddon. I wouldn't even call it that, but we freaked out, right? We closed down things. We've maximized telework at work. Everything is kind of closed. For what, pray tell? Well, I said Ice-mageddon. I've seen it much worse here in central Missouri, but we had a freezing rain ice storm last night. Current temperature is 28 degrees and we've had some rain. So that's caused some slush and some ice on the roads, some slippage, some sliding. I just got out in my Jeep and driving around this morning with my coffee, and I realized there's a few people in the ditch already. And so I just thought it would be a great opportunity to take and talk to you folks about some things that I do when I drive in this. I'm uber confident that I can drive in almost any condition, all right? Kind of part of my upbringing. Loved getting in the car, going to the Walmart parking lot and doing donuts when there was snow on the ground. But, you know, not a lot of people had that luxury. You grew up in a different location where you didn't have snow. And I don't freak out being in this stuff, but that's me, right? And I'm just one person. There's a lot of people out there that absolutely do freak out and can't drive in this. And I want to give you a couple tips on how to navigate the storm. Ice, snow, doesn't really matter. Okay, number one.
Disclaimer, I am not a professional. This is only advice. This is what I do. If you do what I do and you get hurt, I'm not responsible.
Rule number one, slow the That means if the speed limit is 55, don't even do 55. I don't recommend doing more than 35 miles an hour when there is snow or ice on the ground. And that is a recommendation based on road conditions. You know your skill, you know your ability to do things, so don't exceed your capabilities, your abilities, and just do 35. Now, if 35 is way too fast, then slow down. Currently, right now, I'm doing 15 because I'm trying to keep my sway bar disconnected, because at 19 miles an hour, it automatically reconnects. So I'm just trying to go slower and test out these roadways, okay? Originally, I got out here and I just wanted to see. 35 for me on the one road I was on, going downhill, I was sliding. So that brings me to point number two. You find yourself sliding, you should never hit your brakes and press and hold, okay? You want to pump your brakes. Yes, most vehicles are outfitted with ABS, anti-lock brake system, but you can help that by pumping your brakes and just slowing down, okay? If you pump your brakes, that gives your wheels an ability to gain traction in the middle of a slide, and it could mean the difference between you going in a ditch and you just kind of gently sliding off the road, all right? So, slow down, pump your brakes whenever you hit it. Rule number three, remain calm, okay? If you get in here and you start telling yourself, oh my God, I can't do this, you're right, you can't do it, okay? Get in, make a determination in your mind that I'm gonna arrive safe. So you're gonna slow down. Doesn't matter what anybody else behind you does, because this idiot behind me is like running right up on me. Now, I am doing 20 miles an hour, that's fine. But if I have to hit my brakes and I do hit a patch of gravel or I hit a patch of ground where there's no ice and I come to a complete stop and he slides into the back of me, well, you were following too close, number one. Number two, you couldn't stop in time, so you hit me. And number three, I have a steel bumper on the back of the Jeep, and it's gonna total your plastic Chevy that you got back there. So just give people space. That's, I guess, rule number, that'll be number four, but you know, number three, back to just keep a mindset, right? Keep an awareness mindset. Slow your breathing, calm down, don't panic. I know that's hard. So this takes a little bit of practice outside of driving. But deep breaths, play calming music on your radio, and keep that mindset. You see a vehicle, get back away. Don't even come close to another vehicle, okay? It doesn't matter what speed you're doing, because you need to give yourself space in these conditions so that you can make it through, all right? And that's really point number 4, is give yourself space. Don't run up on people. Don't do any of that. Just give yourself enough space, enough reaction time, so that if you do make a mistake and you go off the road, it's only hurting you. It's not hurting the people around you. It's not hurting the other cars on the road, even though there may be few and far between. Now, that's 4 tips for just how you should drive. Let me give you some tips on some settings that you should put your vehicle in. Number 1, if you have a car, if you have a front wheel drive vehicle, front wheel drive, okay? If you don't know that about your vehicle, that's probably an indicator that you probably shouldn't be on the road. But if you know that you have a front wheel drive vehicle, that is fine, okay? You're okay. If you have a car and it's rear wheel drive, stay at home. If you don't have the ability to put it in 4-wheel drive and it's rear wheel drive, that goes for trucks too. Some people buy trucks that are not completely 4-wheel drive, then you should just stay at home. So front wheel drive vehicles, one of the best vehicles to have in snow or icy conditions. Number 2, if it's rear wheel drive and you can't put it in 4-wheel drive, don't bring it out, all right? And then the third thing on that, the best driving conditions, the best setting for your vehicle when you're driving and stuff like this is an all-wheel drive or a 4-wheel drive high, okay? You don't necessarily need to be in low, okay? Now, if you've got a Jeep and you want to disconnect your sway bar, then you need to keep it below 18, 19 miles an hour, and that'll get you where you need to be. But if you don't have that, then make sure it's front wheel drive. If it's front wheel drive, you're pretty much okay to drive in this. You're not going to have the maximum capability that an all-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive vehicle has, but front wheel drive will serve you fine. And if it's rear wheel drive, you probably have a pretty decently priced sports car if you've got rear wheel drive. So those aren't made for snow and ice. I wouldn't recommend leaving your house. So those are just a couple tips that I'd like to share. But number 1, slow down. Just slow down. Give yourself space and stay calm while you're driving. All right. The last thing that I will leave you with is when it is safe to do so. Okay, when it is safe to do so, meaning you're on a straight road, it's flat, got no elevation, okay, or a parking lot that's empty, test out what your vehicle does at certain speeds, okay? So I'm doing 16, 17 miles an hour. If I didn't have this idiot running on my backside, then I would slam on the brakes just to see what the vehicle does. Chances are there's a high likelihood that you're not gonna slide off into the ditch if you're on a straight road, okay? But just give yourself some ability. See how hard you can press the brake before it starts sliding, okay? If you just touch the brake and start sliding, you're in very, very dangerous conditions, and you should really take heed to slowing down, giving yourself space, and pumping the brakes if you need to hit them, okay? So you should drive really slow. Now, if it doesn't slide, then you're free to kind of drive somewhat normal. And by somewhat normal, I mean a little bit faster, you have a little bit of control. But that is just for that one little section of road that you were on. So you got to constantly be checking your vehicle and the road conditions as you go on. So if you know the storm's coming west to east and you're driving to the west, chances are the road conditions might get worse as you continue to drive west because the storm was already there. So just a couple tips, a couple things to consider whenever you are out and about on these icy roads. Number one, yeah, again, just remember, if you don't have confidence in your ability to drive, stay at home. It's not worth it. But with these tips and a little bit of practice, you can gain the confidence that if you needed to be out and driving around, you could go out and do what you need to do. So if you like this content, again, hit that like, subscribe button, and then that notification bell to let you know that more content's coming up. I appreciate you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks.